In this video, we're going to see how to type multiple functions as an answer. In the previous video was a gradient vector field problem, and students were asked to type in only one function in here. But there are two more components to the problem in the next part. Here in this list, the question 6, they're supposed to answer P and Q and R separately. In the last part there, which will be included in this video as well, in this part they're going to just enter all together as a vector form. So for example, I'm giving them a kind of example. If the vector field, the gradient vector field is x plus 1 multiplied to the vector I, y plus 1 multiplied to vector j, and z plus 1 multiplied to vector k, then they can just enter x plus 1 with this normal keyboard I and j and k there. So those are the two types of questions we can look at. Let's begin with the question 6. Right, here's a question writing area. Let's begin with always write a description. Select the library where it's supposed to go to and the question type. So this time the question type is going to be multiple parts because we're going to write 3 different functions in terms of x and y and z. So if you scroll down, there's multiple parts. That's what you have to select. Let's begin with the question text area here. So I wrote down question part, which is similar to the previous problem. So again, rather than typing in the problem in there, I'm going to type it in the control area and just going to call that expression. That's easier to see, separated from other sentences. Same question, finding the gradient vector field, and written as like this, P vector I, Q times vector J, and so on. So here's the answer area. So we're expecting the students to see P is, there's an answer box, and there's another answer box, and then like Q part, and another answer box, and the R part like that. Because it's multiple parts, first answer is has index 0, second answer has index 1, and third at index 2. And separating the line, I'm locating the preview location, the preview button, as they type in the functional expression there in the 0 box, and it's going to show up in the next line rather than all in the same line. Especially longer expressions such as function, this is a good idea, which I explained in an earlier video as well. So I'm repeating it here. Q is the answer number 1, answer number 0, and answer number 2. That's how it's indexed, and I located a preview button location in there. So that's how it's organized, and that's how it looks like. So we have to go back and do the similar thing. We have to write the expression f in over there, declare the variable, and just write down these 3 answers, and that's pretty much it. But this is multiple parts. There's another thing it's called answer types, right? So let's go ahead and write down the answer preparation part first. Right, this is common control area where you type in the codes. Again, this backslash, 2 backslash is a comment just to separate what this one, just explain what these are. These are the answer display part. Because it's a multiple part question, you have to declare this answer types and use array to show what the first answer and the second answer and third answer type should be. This time, this is a function. So the first time I'm showing you the name of that goes into this answer types for functions. Before we just chose that available from this in here, but this time is a multiple part. This can be found again going to writing questions help, and if you go to multiple parts, and they have list of all the types, and the name is supposed to go into this multiple part questions. Right? Let me go ahead and show you that. So here it is. As you click on that, write the questions help. Below, there's multiple parts. If you click on that multiple parts, it shows the number that you were able to choose in that pull-down menu has to go like this in the answer types. And for functions, it was somewhere in here. It's num func. That's what that should go in there. So click that off, and that's what you see here. Num function, the first answer and second answer and the third answer. Answer number 0, answer number 1, and answer number 2. They're all have the same type, so I typed in that thing. Because it's a function, I gave everything to the larger length. Because of the 3 parts, if you write it like this, everything gets 60 and 60, 60 size. If you want to change the size for each part slightly different, you know the first part is a little bit long, then it's going to be 60, but the other part it should be short, then you can change to 40 and 40 like that. Always just uses array to give a different data for the indexed data like that. So this time, I'm just simply going to make everything 60, but that's a good thing to know. And here, let me go ahead and delete that part and explain that later. Now, answer of 3 parts, multiple part, they all go in here into array. Whatever the first answer goes into first slot of array, 0th answer and first answer and second answer. Again, this index slightly different. So you can type in those expressions because it's string expression with mathematical functions. It has to have this quote. If you type in directly here, let me go ahead and type that directly here. For example, if the answer is x squared, it should be like this. But again, like the last time, I find it better to have this expression written somewhere else and just call that. So I'm going to go ahead and write those answers in different lines so that you can see clearly, not in this one line with all the multiple answer, put together. So I think that's a better idea. So I'm going to write that over here like this. So P, that part is supposed to be this expression. And again, there should be a quote. Now the confusing part is that even though you define this $P into this string expression like that, when you're calling this one, you have to put this quotation mark again. I guess what it calls is just this expression right there, and just simply literally replace the place of where the $P is with this string symbol, but it does not quote the quotation mark themselves. So you have to put additional quotation mark. You have to make sense out of that. But for example, like in Mathematica, once you declare it a string, then you don't have to declare it a string again. But here you have to just literally replacing part what is inside in between those 2 quotation mark there. So hence you have to put the quotation mark again. So that's the logic. But if you do that, and it's going to recognize this as XYZ function and so on. So I guess that's probably about it. So that's good for this answer prep part, but if you go back to the question area part, then there is this expression that we need to specify again. So if you go back there, it's there. And I forgot to mention, but this variable part should be there as well. So I did kind of backwards and look at the answer part and the preamble to the answer part. It's going to be like this. Make sure if your answer is a function type answer, you have to declare the variable clearly like this. And with this expression you used inside there, it's separately written. I think it's a good idea. And that's about it. So I think everything is ready now. You just have to test it. So there's a function gradient vector field, and where students have to enter each component as a function in terms of x and y and z. Then that's that. So here's the next question. It's a same question, is all about entering answer in a slightly different manner. This time is not different component. We're just entering everything into one line. And here's a suggestion. For example, if the answer is like this vector field, they can put the answer like this, x plus 1 times I as a new variable. The trick is that you go ahead and declare the variable x and y and z together with I and j and k. If you think about it, all the 6 indeterminate, it is actually covering that kind of expression. So a student will assume, this is in the vector form. They're not going to do anything crazy with, I squared minus I plus 1 whole thing squared minus I squared minus 1 to capture 2i, something like that. They will never do that. So it actually works pretty neat. So they can type in the answer like this. And the only thing that you can imagine, all you have to do is just declare the variable and write your answer in one line, not in the 3 separate parts. Only thing that you have to take care of in this part is the show answer part. If you declare your answer like this, and it's not going to display the answer with this boldface I, boldface J, and boldface K. It's okay just to display answer like that. They'll be able to see it, but it's a little bit nicer if you display the answer slightly different from what you declare as an answer. And that is the only part that we're going to focus on here. Let me turn that off. Here's a question area again. Go ahead and select library. I select the wrong library, so I'm going to go ahead and change that. Now I fixed it. And next thing, the question type. Again, this is not a multiple part, just a one-line part. Therefore, just the function will be sufficient. So scroll down and find the function answer. Everything is going to be just one function, right? The very first thing I usually do is declaring the variable if I can see that it involves checking the answer in the function form. So here, the variables is going to be not only x, y, z, but we got to have I, j, and k declared as a variable, and it'll be able to recognize that as a vector form. Other than that, rest of the code is pretty much the same, except the very last one is show answer. So I'm just going to copy and paste and breeze through it quickly. So here is this f expression is the scalar function, same as in the earlier video. And we have these 3 components, P and Q and R. And in the previous part, there was a multiple part separate question. Here's the answer display. This is just going to be one answer, so there's no answer types in array mode. Just one answer. It's going to be longer, so maybe we can change that to even longer to 80 or something. But the answer is these polynomials in x and y and z multiplied by this I. It's another polynomial variable actually, but it does the job. So we would declare the answer as this x, y, z multiplied to another polynomial variable I, another polynomial variable j and k. But as long as p and q and r are equal to each other, it's going to recognize it as a correct answer. So the key thing is, let me go ahead and actually generate this question and show you how it looks like. So we generated that. It's nothing. Go ahead and fix it. Why didn't generate anything? All right, I forgot to take care of the question part. I didn't put any question in there. So that's the same thing. Go all the way to finding gradient vector field. But this time it's very simple. Just one answer box. And that was the answer in here. So let me go ahead and generate the question mode again, and there's the answer box in there. So the students gonna type in the answer in that form, and they wanted to see the correct answer if they got it incorrect. So here's the correct answer. Show answer, as you can see, it just says I and J and K like that. If that's okay with you, that's fine. But if you want to change that to typesetting like this, and following is what you have to do. You have to go ahead and add the show answer in the next line. So that was the answer line. I added one more line. It's a show answer with this. This is again built-in command variable, so you shouldn't mess with that. So that's going to be an expression. You must start with this quotation mark. And this is going to be exactly the form that appears inside this question mark. So you have to put this backward prime symbol to turn this one into a mathematical expression where you can type in this math BF, the boldface part. Again, this is different from the answer part. Answer part should be variable so that they can recognize it as a variable, function, so that they can plug in values to recognize the student's answer is identical to the answer we have and things like that. And this second line, show answer part, is purely about showing the answer in nicer form. So you gotta have this quotation backward prime symbol. If it does not have backward prime symbol, it's going to display just like this usual text mode. Whatever is inside the quotation mark appear as a normal string. So if you put this backward prime symbol, it'll try to show that as a mathematical expression. So with that, I think it does it. So go ahead and render the problem. Again, let's see if it's going to show the answer in the form we wanted. Then it shows the boldface I and boldface J, and things like that. So it looks like this. So that's what they're going to see after several attempts and when they wanted to see the answer. And this is how it's going to appear. So that concludes this same problem with typing in answers in a different form. So in this video, we reviewed how to enter multiple functions as an answer. If it is happened to be a vector field like this, we also saw that and how to put this one as a single line answer.